Hello again. This video is about the paradigm of recovery. So it's a brief overview of the moving parts and pieces for the big picture perspective of the paradigm of recovery. And again, this material comes from Chip Dodd, and includes some of my condensed understanding. So it's like this hourglass. And we find ourselves way out here inside of the anxieties, depressions, and addictions. And we finally have enough consequences where we begin to ask ourselves the question, how did I get here? And so, in order to actually answer that question, we have to go backwards before we can go forward. So, the first goal is to get you. And as we begin to work backwards, we have to get you before you can be you. And we have to be you before you can give you in relationships. And so we were created with the desperation of hope and the courage to express it as a little kid, not thinking about his life, but just showing up and living and being, made for relationship, not using his neocortex, his thinking brain, but just being himself, which includes the full expression of himself. Well, inside our bodies, there are a lot of limbic memories of when our hearts gotten abandoned. So one of mine, I'll use this example, is the legacy of when my mom told me that she found out that she was pregnant with me. She cried. So that's really disheartening. And the enemy was there in the spiritual realm, and he doesn't care that I was 4. And the enemy is always there seeking to kill and steal and destroy. And you can always discern the enemy's voice because it has tone. And so as I'm scrambling for a relationship with this new information, then the enemy's right there and he whispers, it's because you're unwanted. It's because you're stupid. And it feels true. And so I end up signing my name to that lie, this piece of toxic shame. And so notice we're progressively moving up this in this understanding. And so the toxic shame, I believe it feels true. And I sign my name in the spiritual realm. And that is where the enemy has stolen and killed and destroyed this area, this ground of my heart. So I can no longer be a human being, just being who I am with that desperation of hope and courage to express it. I have to begin to be a human doing. My flesh then tries to earn my belonging and mattering. And so I come up with, since that toxic shame has contempt for the way that I'm made, I come up with a mask. I start reading minds and predicting what it is that others want from me. And so I start performing, because when I get some praise for my mask of being happy Keith, because I'm hiding sad Keith, then I get a temporary relief, an endorphin hit of dopamine that, okay, I get to belong and matter for a little bit longer here. But that is exhausting. Codependency is exhausting. People don't wear us out. Codependency does. And eventually I'm going to need relief from what used to give me relief. And that's where I find myself inside of the addictions or depressions or anxieties. And so all of that work in scooping out my stories so that I can now identify and explore and then express through the confession and admission of being human. Now, what does that look like in real relationships? So I keep going down through the paradigm of recovery. So above this line right here, this is me internally, and then this is then me externally, giving myself in real relationship. So I begin expressing and confessing and admitting my humanness one to another. And so I tell people that the, no, I'm out of order. Oh, that's why. Okay. So I begin to give myself, I tell the truth about my anxiety, that I've been living with this anxiety. And I tell the truth about the mask that I've been showing you is this. But the deeper story that I've been telling myself underneath of that is this toxic shame. And you may or may not include the truth of the story, one of the many stories of abandonment that you've learned. And so as you get you and be you and give you, then you can tell the truth. You feel your feelings, you tell the truth, and you let go of the results, and you recover yourself, where you can grab this desperation of hope and the courage to express it again and ask for what you need, talk about how you feel, but then let go of the results. And so you move down through this and you recover yourself. You recover yourself. You recover yourself. You recover yourself. And you end up with this big, fat, full of self, not for the sake of self, but for the purpose of giving self away. That is when mankind will be truly satisfied, when they're surrendered to something greater than themselves. So that is the introduction to Paradigm of Recovery. And I hope that this brief video has blessed you, and look forward to the next video. God bless.